So I'm delighted that we've got our B Corp certification. It's a really exciting part of our journey. We've always had a mission about building successful businesses, and this is part of how we create our own business to be even more sustainable. It's providing a framework for something that we can not just say today that we think we're doing a reasonable job, still areas where we need to improve, but how can we make ourselves better so that in 10 years' time when we look back, we've continued to evolve.
Most of the management teams that we work with have a desire to improve their ESG credentials, but actually a lot of them just don't know where to start and can find it quite overwhelming. Our approach is to first of all establish a baseline, so where is the business at this point in time, and then set some objectives and targets, so where would the business like to get to. Once you have those two things established, you can determine a roadmap that gets you from A to B on that journey. And that's where the B Corp assessment is really valuable.
The main part of the accreditation process is the B Impact Assessment. It's an online questionnaire with 200 odd questions covering topics like governance, workers, environment, so forth. B Corp has been proving increasingly popular of late, so you may have noticed, with a lot of organisations becoming accredited. As a result, the B Corp team are incredibly busy, and there's quite a timeline to getting from having your impact assessment done, applying, and getting all the way through to confirming your accreditation. For us, that took about 12 months, and you should probably plan on the same basis. Due to this, you probably want to think about what's the value it's going to bring your organisation. Might it help you attract and retain customers, employees? Might it speak to your investors? Or is it just important as a marker of your organisation's culture? After weighing these things up, you can make a decision around whether it's right for you to become accredited as a B Corp. There's not going to be anyone in your organisation that knows the answer to all the questions. So what you need to do is get together a team of people with cross-functional representation of your organisation, divvy the questions up between you so that you can all, between you, use the knowledge of the team to answer them all. And really importantly, as you're doing that, make sure you capture the documentation, the evidence that backs up your responses to those questions. Once you've completed the online questionnaire, it gives you your score. As part of doing that, you'll need to have at least 80 points. Probably want to have a few more because some might get knocked off through the validation process that B Corp puts you through. You also need to change your company articles to reflect your consideration of multiple stakeholders in your decision making. So there is some effort to go through to become accredited. And that's where you can tell whether you have the right number of points needed to become B Corp accredited, or it'll also give you your scores against each category versus other businesses of a similar size and shape to yours, so you can use that to think through where you might focus next. If you do decide to become accredited, the next step is all about getting B Corp to validate the questions that you have provided, the answers. They'll be looking for evidence and documentation to back up the questions that the answers to the questions that you've provided.
Think carefully about your motivations for achieving B Corp and make a decision accordingly. B Corp accreditation is taking longer these days, so plan ahead. The process is time-consuming, so assess the impact on your teams carefully. There are over 200 questions in the assessment, so assemble a cross-functional team from the outset. Continually assess. Use the assessment score to determine if you want to continue. Retain and document the evidence used in the assessment. You'll need it at the validation phase. It's hard work. It can be really worth the effort to establish a baseline from which to make progress and align the whole company